Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction for One Piece chapter 1089. Really excited for this one because I actually don't have to wait until the next day to do it. The past 2 weeks it's come out, like the new chapter, the scans at least have dropped at like midnight for me, but this time it dropped around noon, so I'm getting to record this actually on the day that the scans drop. So super excited. Just a reminder for those of you that don't know, I'm posting this video whenever the scans come out for patrons and channel members, and then making it public for everyone on the day that the official translation comes out. So yeah, if you wanted a bit early, you can become a patron or channel member. But either way, if you're new to this, as we're reacting, we're gonna do bingo just because, I don't know, sometimes, like, there have been times I covered One Piece for years and years. There have been times when some chapters are a little, like, light on content, but it can be fun. It can, like, give us some extra things to discuss if we just play a game along with it. But I'm excited in general because it's been an entire volume's worth of time since we last went to Egghead, and we're getting to continue on with Egghead stuff. This also might be the first time that we might actually have a chance of getting a bingo, because before it's like, I don't know if we're going back to Egghead, I don't know if we're going to look at the Navy stuff that we had been looking at Hachinosu, don't know if we're jumping to any of these other groups of characters, but now that we know pretty for sure, at least, that we're going back to Egghead given the end of last chapter, we might actually have a chance this time. As always, I took 5 off the board from last time and added 5 new ones, and the card I generated gave me Admiral, Kuma in a flashback, Seraphim, Shaka was a fake out, which I think is very likely, even though he was seemingly shot in the head, Egghead butt fan service, the Gorosei, and I'm counting any of the Gorosei, any of the 10 Titanic captains, -1 Vegapunk means one of the Vegapunks is killed, and I'm putting killed in heavy quotes because it's hard to tell with One Piece. Straw Hat Grand Fleet, any member, like any of, I think, the big Grand Fleet, like the representatives, I would count. The Cyborg Sea Beasts, like we saw at the beginning, since the Navy is coming to the island, I figured we might see those, so it might be good to throw that on the board. A named attack, a new cover story, free, we can go ahead and click. Kuma not in a flashback, whatever he's doing at the Red Line. The Cross Guild, any of the big 3 members of that I would say should count. New Devil Fruit reveal, a Devil Fruit Awakening, doesn't have to be new, like if Luffy goes Gear 5 or something. Where is Caribou? Whenever we get the answer to that, someone gets turned to stone. Seems like that could very much happen easily. Law or Beppo, new Mads, a bounty reveal, Smoker, because we heard like way back when Doll was talking with the other Marines that Smoker was already on the way to Egghead, right? So where the heck has Smoker been is my big question. Carrot and or Zunisha, because Carrot's storyline never ended on any sort of even temporary conclusion. And the Revolutionaries are coming to Egghead. I'll count that as any sign, like whether they actually show up or whether we just get panels of them saying, hey, we're on the way there or something. Any indication that they're on the way, I think should count for that. But yeah, either way, with all of that out of the way, let's actually start reading. So we have a Jump cover to start us out with, and it's so funny how, like, for the longest time doing Jump Week and everything, I was really keeping up with all of the Jump series, but it's been so long since I've been doing that or caught up that it's like, I don't know most of these characters at this point. But we start off with chapter 1089, Under Siege, and it's Nami, so it's not a new cover story. Cover request by Parko: a cow serves Nami a late night mug of warm milk while she works on her sea charts. It feels like it's been a while since the new Mads cover story ended. So, sorry, I just noticed Sanji in the background. Yeah, it's been a while since we had one. I figure we should get one pretty soon. And on the things it says, thanks, but I saw them earlier. The stars outside shone almost as beautiful as you, Nami-san. Would you like to come watch them with me, Sanji? That's cute. Alright, so now we get into the actual chapter, and hold on. This is wild. We're starting with Fuchsia, East Blue Fuchsia Village. News races around the world. We're finally getting an around the world news sequence? Did you hear about Garp-san missing in action on Pirate Island? What's that mean? It doesn't say dead, right? So it's Garp news. So we're still continuing with Garp and Kobe news, at least. There's no need to worry about him, he's a living legend, says Whoop Slap. Yeah, the mayor's right. Kya, you think this is funny? Wow, sorry, I didn't realize it was you. And is that Makino's baby? I guess we're all a little on edge over Garp-san. The baby's even starting to recognize Luffy's face from all the photos. You really love seeing Big Bro Luffy, don't you? Bah! And we get to see Dadan! Oh, I got chills. We haven't seen Dadan in forever. Garp, Luffy, what are you doing? She's crying. Huh? And then, why are they we have zzz sound effects. East blue. Wah! Earthquake. Okay, so it's an earthquake they're even feeling there. South blue. It's a tsunami. Get to higher ground. No earthquake recorded in history. West blue. Match the one felt on that day. Oh, and that looks like in West blue, that's, I don't know if we should recognize South blue. But East blue, it says Logue. Okay, yeah, it's literally the entrance to Loguetown. Sorry, I'm just looking at all these characters, seeing if there's like any hints or anything. But yeah, we have Loguetown there. And then West blue, that's Kano Kingdom, I think. Because of the building and the big bridge. And I think that was the one that was supposed to marry Sai on the left. Or maybe just women look like that in Kano. And then North blue. Again, I don't know. Like, this looks like probably something we've seen. Like with the factories, the 21 on the building. I don't know for sure, but this might be another place we've seen. Is it maybe where, gosh, was that even in North Blue? Where Doflamingo killed Corazon? It's a big one. It caused untold destruction across the entire world. And we have a 2-page spread. Hold on, I don't want to look at the left yet. Grand Line, and we're seeing Laboon for the first time in forever. This is really an around-the-world thing. An iceberg. These are characters we do not see a lot. No one could determine the epicenter. So the significance of this geological event, and we see Hina. And that might be at Marineford? Went unnoticed. Oh, and I almost didn't recognize, guess who? It's Momonosuke. So the significance of this geological event went unnoticed. That's... okay, it's so cool. We have Hina, an iceberg, and we haven't seen Momonosuke in a... like... we just left Wano, but wow, that's interesting. What the hell's happening? We have a bunch of prisoners. Unbeknownst to the people, get to the hilltop. A kingdom known as Lelucia was erased from the map only 6 days prior. So it took 6 days, the shockwave of the island being destroyed. Oh, and that's a bunch of celestial dragons. The shockwave from Lelucia being destroyed caused like a worldwide tsunami. That's how powerful it is. We've reached the spot where the kingdom was, and we see Imu, and I totally think now that the big silhouette that was in the Florian Triangle or whatever, I totally think, because that was right by the red line too, I totally think that was Imu. There's no trace of it left, just a massive hole. It's like a circular waterfall in the middle of the sea, so it's like Enies Lobby. So Enies Lobby had this happen. I don't think it happened recently if it's Enies Lobby, though. I know, gosh, the theory that Raftail was at Enies Lobby, I don't like that theory. It doesn't make much sense. I think that, so if Enies Lobby is also like this, then also if Enies Lobby is also like this, doesn't that mean that Fukuro has been down there? The guy that Frankie knocked down there, right? Or am I just remembering incorrectly? Oh, I guess he left like a imprint in the dirt when he got defeated, though, so he didn't land. He didn't go down the giant hole. Never mind. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, this is like Enies Lobby. I think if this happened, though, that... well, if it happened to Enies Lobby, I think it happened probably like way 800 years ago with the original Uranus or whatever. If this is Uranus. We can't sail any closer, but it doesn't look like the hole will collapse in on itself. So that's interesting. It creates holes in the ocean that don't collapse in, which is interesting. The ensuing earthquakes caused the global sea level to rise by approximately 1 meter. Many of the world's shores, and we're seeing Kamabaka. Okay, so we are seeing the revolutionaries. What is happening? The tide's never gotten this high before. It'll recede eventually, won't it? We're lost beneath the waves. How are we meant to run on the beach now? And we have, gosh, what's her face? The, Ahiru. Sorry, hiccup. Ahiru and Ivankov. Some islands were submerged entirely. Everything's flooded. We can't stay here. There's a shark in my house. I can't tell if that's an island we're supposed to recognize or not. Reports of flooded islands are still coming in. It shouldn't be high tide yet. And we're back to Fuchsia Village. I'm sure to get a big catch on a day like this. You numbskull, going fishing now would be suicide. And Whoopslap's looking out. And now we go to New World Egghead, so we're not seeing any more of that. That is nuts. I don't think any of that is on the bingo board, though. Yeah, we didn't see... Hold on. Let me go through. We didn't see any admirals. We just saw Hina. We didn't see any of the Grand Fleet. Yeah. Interesting. None of the Cross Guild. No named attacks. Yeah, the Revolutionaries, I wouldn't say... Like, we saw the Revolutionaries, but not coming to Egghead. The New World, Egghead, Island of the Future. Or at least 2 of them are still on Kamabaka. The New World Egghead Island of the Future, a massive force has surrounded the island, possessing more than enough firepower to put a Buster Call to shame. Yeah, it's like 10 times the size of a Buster Call. Sea levels have risen worldwide. Yes, sir, we're at a loss. The fleet is comprised of over 100 ships of various size and class. Okay, and we are seeing the mechanical sea beasts. Hang on. We got the cyborg sea beasts. We did see those. Yeah, we didn't see new Mads. No new Devil Fruit reveal or awakening that we know of. There are 20 great warships among them. It's a mecha monster, and a total of 30,000 marines. And we see a laser, so that's probably going to be Kizaru, unless it's a pacifista. Hey Unc, didn't I just tell you not to lay a hand on the weaponized sea beasts? They started it. This operation is being spearheaded by 9 Navy HQ Vice Admirals. And the one guy looks familiar. Second from the left, we have Dahl in there. And then the others don't look super familiar to me. And Admiral Kizaru. You aren't making this easy for me, Sentomaru-kun. Can't you just come on out and surrender? Fat chance. We'll be ready if you try something like that again, Unc. And they're all just eating on their ships while they have the place surrounded. Navy Admiral Kizaru Borsellino. Oh my, I'm absolutely terrified. Grandpa Punk based the pacifista's lasers off the research he did on your powers. Alright. That's so cool. I can't believe you're here to kill him. And we see a flashback of them. Young Kizaru is kind of wild looking. That's so cool. Sentomaru-kun, no one can protect him from his own choice to research the Void Century. I'm just a cog in the machine. Anyway, this fight isn't exactly in our best interest. Everything we break is a net loss for us. Okay, so they don't want to destroy, they just want to take out Vegapunk, but they want to keep the tech and research. At this point, I think it's fair to assume that Rob Lucci and the others failed to complete their assassination mission, thanks to the Straw Hats. Inside a certain warship, and we're seeing, bro, Jake Garcia Saturn just looks really cool. He went from just regular old man guy part of the Gorosei to looking really cool. Also, hold up. This means we have Admiral and Gorosei. Hold on. Hold on. That's something. No named attacks yet. I doubt we'll see new Mads. But hang on. We're getting somewhere. Make sure no one knows I'm here. Yes, sir. The Straw Pirates storm Egghead to take Vegapunk hostage. This is a good article. It's one of Morgan's. And what's the reality of the situation? Sir, we have yet to receive any word from Cypherpole Zero on whether their mission was a success. However, we can draw our own conclusions based on Sentomaru's resistance. And then the Gorosei Warrior God of Defense Science, J. Garcia Saturn. So again, it makes sense that the Defense Science guy is the one that's here. To Egghead. It can be safely assumed that Dr. Vegapunk and his 6 satellites are up in the Labostratum, along with 4 Seraphim assigned to protect them. And it seems that they've joined forces with Emperor Straw Hat. His crew has 10 members, and we see they're counting Luffy within the 10 members. Our advance guard included 3 members of CP0, Rob Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy. There were also a number of other Cypherpole agents, but it seems like they've been captured in the Fabrio Stratum by Sentamaru and his battalion of Mark III Pacifista. As the Frontier Dome is currently at 100%, we can be certain that nobody can get in or out of the lava stratum. Unfortunately, we have no way of knowing what has transpired on the interior of the dome in the last day or so. And where have the researchers and workers of Egghead gone? They evacuated yesterday. Okay, so they already got out. But we've tracked and confirmed the current position of their ships. And what would we do if they got away? They might know something. Sink them immediately. Yes, sir. Again, makes sense. Saint Saturn, your worship, there's one more thing. The glutton Jewelry Bonnie was reported to be on the island too. Ah, Kuma's daughter. Well, we no longer have any use for her, but given that she is just a little girl, you can leave her be. Understood. And then, Kizaru-san, we've picked up a transmission from Egghead. It appears to be a long-range call. Buddha Buddha Buddha. And then, the Holy Land of Mariwa. This is Mariwa over. Admiral, you have a black transponder snail on your left arm. Yeah? That means you can listen in. And then, like, the black transponder snails are the ones that you can use to, like, gosh, what is it? I mean, they just said listen in, but, like, I don't know, spy, tap into conversations. Like we saw way back in Drum Island, that's what Smoker used to learn about Alabasta. The Room of Authority. Hey, this is York speaking. Oh, it's you. You guys are so rude. The heck are you trying to kill me too? Why the heck are you trying to kill me too? I went out of my way to tell you all about the Stella's betrayal. You did do that. But then again, you're just Vegapunk, or you are Vegapunk just as much as he is. If I had any interest in the Void Century, why would I blab about it? It makes no sense. That's true. In any case, you've done well to survive this long. I like we're seeing each of the Gorsei here. Didn't CP0 pay you a visit? And what happened to the Strat Pirates? Since I'm the one calling you, I'll let you take a wild guess. You do realize I have the Seraphim under my control, right? The fact that I survived the night shouldn't come as a shock. Anyway, what's with this fleet you've got buzzing around the island? You're trying to wage war on little old me. As a matter of fact, York, we've had a change of heart on that matter. I'm right in thinking that you're capable, or am I right in thinking that you're capable of replicating the Mother Flame alone? Okay, so they want... Because I think the Mother Flame is the power source for Uranus, probably. The power source in general for the like, Ancient Kingdoms technology that Vegapunk was talking about. So they probably need her to make more. Oh, will you look at that. So you do want something from me. I'm glad I sent it. Indeed, this is a special request we're acting on. A request from whom? Either way, if that's what you want, the power station I need to make it is here. Also can be read as fusion reactor. Okay. Just promise you won't lay a finger on me or my lovely laboratory. Very well. I also still want to be a celestial dragon. That can be arranged. Then you've got a deal. There's just one other thing I need you to do first. Save me. Straw Hat Luffy's here, and he's going to kill me. And then she's crying. What the hell? And we see all of the good guys surrounding them. Crush these psychos. I see. Everything's finally coming into focus. And that's Nami. I don't really get it, but we can just use her as a human shield to get away, right? Says Luffy. What does that... does that mean we're under siege? Says Bonnie. So Bonnie already finished the memory stuff. So that's how it is. The grand conspiracy's been foiled, and the crew's all together. With a question mark. I'm glad that there's a question mark. We're on break because of a jump break, so we'll probably get the scans early. This feels like Wano Piece. This feels like a Wano Piece chapter. I think everything up to the last page was really, really, really great. I don't know how I feel about the last page. I'm not gonna, like, in a vacuum, if this was all we got, I would say this sucks. This is a Wano Piece chapter. But I think it's way too early to say that, because next chapter we'll probably get a flash to how this happened. The reason I would say it sucks in a vacuum is because it takes all the tension away. We just came off of Wano, where a big complaint a bunch of people had was that there was no tension. With the exception of Ulti, Kaido's crew did jack shit. Not a single one of them did anything helpful, with the exception of, like, Ulti. And even LT didn't really do particularly much. Even Kaido himself, the big bad, I mean, he threw Luffy off the island, but Luffy came back full healed. He bonked and stabbed Kinemon, but he was fine. So even Kaido really didn't do anything. It just didn't feel like there were many stakes involved when it comes to Wano, and it feels like the stakes were high before. Usopp was already petrified. Usopp was already turned to stone. In addition to that, we had Sanji squaring off against S-Shark. Luffy was really tired fighting against S-Bear, etc., etc., etc. So we basically just said, and we didn't know, was S-Hawk gonna go after somebody before Zoro could get to them? Like, there was a lot of tension built up. There were a lot of plot points going on. And now that we know that everybody's going to be fine in the end, all of that tension's out the window. All of that tension's gone. It seems like all of that was a huge waste of time. Again, I think it's too early to really say, because we will probably get an explanation next chapter, hopefully. But yeah, if not, and kind of even if so, this kind of sucks because we just got rid of all of that tension. Like, before, it was like the Straw Hats and CP0 and Vegapunk had to deal with York, the Seraphim, which were supposed to be like the biggest sort of beings on the sea that were created by science, and the Marines coming. But now it's the Straw Hats and Bonnie and Vegapunk, and York is already taken down. I really didn't think York would be much of a fighter anyway, but York's already taken down. The Seraphim are already out of the picture here. They might even be on our side, which is, taking down even more of the tension. So yeah, I don't really like this ending. Again, it's too early to say that it's awful because we'll probably get an explanation next chapter. And really, I don't think there needs to be a long, drawn-out explanation, really. Again, I think it takes a lot of the tension out of the situation. It makes the situation a lot easier for our characters. Which sucks story-wise. But it's as easy as... So we had 5 characters, I think, that weren't really doing anything when we left off. The others were fighting. Brook had been speed blitzed. Lilith and Usopp and partially Frankie had all been petrified. But Robin, Stussy, Chopper, Atlas, and somebody else, Jinbei, weren't doing anything. So any of those 5 could have just found York, had York tell the Seraphim to knock it off, and then that's it. But also this means we've skipped over the Bonnie Kuma flashback stuff, which is a shame too. That kind of sucks too, that we skipped over the Bonnie Kuma stuff. So yeah, a lot of this just kind of sucks. But we see Jinbei there, so Jinbei's fine. We got Zoro, we got Nami, we got Luffy. I don't see Haku or any of the Vegapunks other than the Stella. So we don't know if Shaka was a fake out or not. We have Bonnie there. We got Sanji and Lucci. And Lucci's fine. Luffy's going to be fine because we've seen just as recently as the fight with Kaido that eating is a full heal. We got Chopper and Frankie in the background, and then Vegapunk and Brook. So yeah. And they have York is chained up. God, York is so hot, sorry. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just feels like so much of the tension's been taken out, and it seems like we missed out on so much that it could have been good story just to have this, I don't know, I don't even know if you'd even call it a twist here at the end. I don't know, this is like some late Wano after Kaido's defeat, all the silliness with Shanks and Green Bull kind of nonsense. I don't know. I'm just hoping and praying that this isn't a return to Wano Piece. Maybe that's it. We saw Momonosuke in the chapter. Maybe Momonosuke just took us back to Wano Piece. And any time that any bit of Wano seeps into One Piece's story, it just ruins everything. But yeah, I don't know. That wasn't that up until the end was pretty neat, but like hold on, I don't think any of this other stuff is here. But yeah, either way, we're not getting a bingo, but yeah, I don't know. I just think again, it's too early to say oh, it's awful without seeing what comes next, but just in a vacuum without getting what comes next, it kind of sucks. But you know, we still don't know what happened with Caribou or with Caribou or with the Blackbeard ship that was coming there. I assume those are related things because Caribou was working with someone. Um, but yeah, how lame. Maybe the Blackbeard pirates can save this arc. Um, but it was like we got a volume at Egghead, and I thought the Egghead stuff was good, and then we got a volume away, and the stuff away was really good, and now we come back to Egghead, and it's like the volume of Egghead stuff might have not meant anything because we just said, forget it, who cares, this chapter, and I don't know. It's just lame. And even if we do get a flashback to what happened, like I said, Robin or somebody could have just grabbed York and said, hey, tell the Seraphim to stop. Because we had 5 people who weren't fighting, or Stussy. But it's still just kind of lame. Or this could all be a fake out and this isn't the real York or something, but it probably is. I don't know. This is just, I hate to be negative. I hate to be disappointed, but this was pretty lame. But either way, again, whenever I have a negative opinion on a chapter or something, it sucks the energy out because then I'm like, oh yeah, like, comment, subscribe. And it's like, it feels so hollow saying that when you've probably been excited to see me react to something and I want to deliver a happy, positive reaction. And then this is kind of why I had to stop doing One Piece because it feels bad to just read a chapter, do a video, and then at the end of the video be like, oh yeah, it wasn't very good. And that was the case with like 99.9% of Wano. So yeah, I don't know. Really worried about what this means for the future, but at least for now, thank you so much for watching. At least somebody might agree with me. And like I said, it's too early to say. In like 3 chapters, you could go back and look at this chapter and be like, oh, this is amazing. Because again, we can have how we got here explained in the future. So while I'm saying it's disappointing in a vacuum now, like 2-3 chapters down the line, once it's all been explained, it can be like, okay, fair enough. Like when people were like, oh, what's up with the weird Yamato stuff? Or, oh, what's up with not having a goodbye to Marco? And then we got it a couple chapters later in a flashback. It can always be explained later. But at least for right this moment, I don't like it. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, my first thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more One Piece, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, just ask and I can give you a link. If you want to help support the channel, you can drop a super thanks down below, or you can become a patron or channel member. Like I mentioned before, patrons and channel members get these One Piece videos early when the scans come out. But yeah. Either way, huge thank you. They also get a shout out at the end. Huge thank you to patrons and channel members. Thank you to Chosen Regular, Evan Hawley, Magical Girls, FR Nono, Huarian and Smeller Dog, Cherryton Student, David Langstaff, and Slayer Candidate SG. Huge thank you to them for their support, and huge thank you to you all for watching. Thank you so much. Sorry again that I was a little negative, but like I said, though I'm negative on it right now, 2 or 3 weeks later, it might be fine. But either way, thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time.